Hi guys. I'm trying to accept Keel's challenge, especially since Stephanie did it now, and so now I feel like I have to step up to the plate. My name is Liz Wagner, and I am living here on the east side of Indianapolis. I teach high school English to mostly 9th and 10th graders, though some 11th and 12th. My school is an alternative school for Warren Township, so I work with students who are struggling either behaviorally or academically, behind on credits, trying to get them back into the traditional school. How did I find out about Eva and candles? Well, I teach night every year by Ellie Wiesel, and last year we got a new principal that was okay with taking kids outside of the school. So I was looking for a field trip for them to go on. And my first thought was to go to the Indianapolis Children's Museum and look at the Holocaust portion that they have there featuring Anne Frank. But a friend of mine that I teach with actually told me, no, you have to go to Terre Haute and you have to meet this woman named Eva, and she's fantastic. She had taken her Girl Scouts over the summer. So I looked into that. It didn't work out only because of funding and timing. Things didn't work out. But while I was looking at the Candles website, I saw that there was a little tab that said Auschwitz trip. And I thought, this is interesting. So I clicked on it, and I had always wanted to go to Auschwitz. I had watched a documentary with Elie Wiesel and Oprah where they toured together. And I thought, wow, what an amazing opportunity. Then within a week, I saw this trip and thought, okay, this is weird how I've had all these things line up. And so then I went on the trip, and the rest is history, I guess. How does Eva and Candle's message relate to my life? Sorry, I keep looking at my laptop to see my notes. That's what I'm doing. Well, I work with kids that are seen as outsiders day in and day out. Every day of their lives, they're seen as outsiders. They're discriminated against. They're seen as unworthy. Most of them have been tossed aside by many, many adults in their life. And it's just really sad. And Eva was targeted because of her religion. And my kids are targeted because of what they look like or how they dress or what side of town they live on or what their fathers or uncles have done in the past. And it's just not fair. And I've spent the last 14 years trying to fight against this stereotype that they're being held down by. And I'm drawn to Eva's spirit, her fighting spirit, and her belief that we can all change the world, even if in a little way. And as a teacher, I think that we all hope to change the world. And yeah, I guess that's how it relates to me. How does the trip affect you? Wow, that's a really big question. I don't even know how to start trying to explain this. I loved what Stephanie said with if you would have asked her during the trip and then a day after she got back and then a month after, now we're at the month part, every time they would be different. And to me, wow, it's only been a month. That blows my mind because it feels like a complete lifetime ago that I've gone. Let me check my notes. But yeah, I completely agree with her. I was a wreck during my time at Auschwitz. Many of you know that. Coming home, I became numb for a little while, and then I was doubled over in pain, trying to deal with all the emotions that were whirling around in my head and in my heart. I feel that I'm just now coming to grips with my experience, and I'm sure throughout the months and the years, they'll continue to evolve. I will say that the trip was life-changing for me, personally and professionally. I was forced to get out of my comfort zone, and I'm really, really glad that I pushed myself to do that, even though I fought myself tooth and nail for a little while. My friends thought I was crazy insane for even signing up to go overseas by myself. That's not something that I would have ever done, and I thought I was crazy. But now I know I can do things on my own, but it's still okay to ask for help. But past my own personal life, I just look through a different lens now. I still see the discrimination and the hatred that's in this world. I'm always going to see that. But do you know what I see even more is the love. It's absolutely everywhere. I see love and the possibility for even more love. It's everywhere you turn. Sometimes it's hiding in that kid in your class that who's been hurt way too many times, and he's built up this huge, enormous wall that you think can never be pulled down. It's hiding in the parent who feels lost and has given up because they don't think that they can change anything. It's hiding in the teacher who cries at night over worrying over the safety of her children and of her students. But love is there, and I'm more determined than ever to continue spreading that love, finding it and spreading it like wildfire, because it's the only answer that we have right now. Why do you think Eva's message is so important to the world? Well, let's face it, the world and our nation are in complete shambles. I think we all see that. We are the most divisive in the most divisive time that my generation has ever seen. We're pitting ourselves against each other based on the amount of money we make, or which presidential candidate we support, or the color of our skin, or the religion we practice, or the gender of the person that we love. Just judging, all the time judging. And what we are not seeing is that we're pitting humans against humans. It's all based on fear of the unknown. And when we fear something, we attack it, and we feel that we have to defend ourselves. And so to defend ourselves, we push away the offending entity, either with violence or building walls, or just saying, I don't like this person, only based on something so trivial. And somewhere along the way, we've lost sight of the fact that we're just all the same. We're all the same. We're all humans. But Eva never lost sight of that. She saw humanity at its absolute worst. And anyone else and so many other people would hold that hatred in their hearts and would look back and only have that fear and hate. But she chose forgiveness, and she chose peace. And that's the message that we need to spread, and as quickly and as fiercely as we possibly can. Have you shared your story with anyone, and how did it go? Yes, I have. But I haven't been able to really get into the depth of it with anybody. Some people only want to hear the trivial parts. We've talked about that, how was the food and things like that. A lot of people did want to hear about my time in Auschwitz and about Eva. But as many of you that got to know me know that I'm quite an emotional person, and I'm pretty intense. And I think that when I start talking about it, that intensity kind of scares people off. So it's been a barrier sharing my story with some people. But I do feel that I got the overall message across to a lot of people. My mother and mother-in-law have started reading Holocaust literature, and they never read that or wasn't interested in it before. So that's kind of cool. Some of my students have shown interest in the small stories that I've told so far. Some based off of the posters that are hanging in my room. Thank you, Madeline. And some of them are really excited about my future field trip to go see Eva in late November. We'll see how things go. I'm going to be starting my Holocaust unit here in about a week and a half. So maybe I'll have new stories to tell and share. This is getting really long, and so I'm going to wrap it up with the last one. Why do you think people should go on this trip, and what would surprise them? Like Stephanie, I do feel that you need to be pulled to this trip in one way or another. But despite that, I still tell every single person that I tell about this trip, I tell them that they should look into it. I don't always say you should go on this trip, but I say you should look her up. This is the website. Look her up. See if it's something that would interest you. I've said it before, and I know it's very cliche, but this trip was truly life-changing, and there's no other word to better describe it. What surprised me, I'm just going to read off of this because it's too weird to keep looking. What surprised me, and I think what would surprise others going on this trip for the first time, is the immense bond that is formed when the people that accompany you. I was so scared going on this trip at first. I look back at that nervous girl sitting outside a Mexican restaurant in Terre Haute, yelling at herself that she has to go in or Beth will be upset. And I laugh. If I only knew then how close I would become to some of the people I was to meet in the next 24 hours, or in the next 2 minutes for that matter, I would have run into that Mexican restaurant with open arms and a huge smile. The tribe is what kept me going those 10 days in Poland. The tribe was there when I cried. The tribe was there when I laughed. The tribe was there when I felt lost and didn't know how to express my feelings or even what I was feeling. I made lifelong friends on this trip, friends who have completely changed my outlook on life, my opinion of myself, and have enlarged my heart. I don't know what I'd do without you in my life. and I thank all of you for being part of my journey. I love you. Keep spreading the love. It's the only answer. Bye.